This week on HomeKit News, the Yeelight Cube Smart Lamp with Matter. So today we're looking at a brand new product, but it's actually sort of three products. We've got the Yeelight Cube Panel, the Yeelight Cube Matrix, and finally the Yeelight Cube Spot. The first of these three different types of cube-shaped lights is the Cube Panel. This is in a bigger box as it comes with a power supply, but you will be able to buy different cube models with power supplies as well. Now, as you can see on the box, these come with Matter certification, which of course means they're also compatible with Apple HomeKit, Google Home and Amazon A. In this case, the Yeelight Cube connects using Matter over Wi-Fi. It also works with Razer Chroma, so if you have a PC, you can get these to work in tandem with your on-screen visuals, namely games. I don't use a PC, so we're going to focus on smart home integration for now. So, what's in this admittedly luxurious looking box? Inside this particular package there are three separate pieces which I'll quickly unpack. The first of these is the Cube Panel, which I have to say feels really solid and well put together. On one side is a raised circle with four little pins, which we'll get to in a bit, and on the opposite side is a plastic cover hiding what you might say is the other half to go with the pins. You have four circles which correspond to the pins, which then transmit power and data to other connected cubes. The cube and base use magnets to keep them together, and as the connector is circular, you can easily rotate the cube on the base. This base, which is the device that actually connects to your smart home, can stand on its side or be placed flat. The rear of the base has a coaxial power socket to use with the included power supply, whilst on one side you get the connector rings and the Matter QR code. The other QR code is actually the MAC address. Before we move on to setup, let's have a quick look at the included power supply. Now this comes with a detachable plug so that US, EU and UK adapters can be used with the same power supply. Onto Matter for a moment, and you might be surprised to see an Android phone here, but I wanted to show you something which I think is pretty neat. Once I place one of the cubes onto the base and power it up, within a few moments the Android phone picks up that there's a Matter device nearby. iOS doesn't do this at present, but hopefully it will soon. Still, as this channel's all about HomeKit, I won't be adding this to Google or Amazon right now, but will be using HomeKit. I could add this directly to Apple Home, but in this case I'm going to add it to the Yeelight Station app. And if you're a HomeKit user, you'll almost certainly recognise this QR code scanner window. Adding the device is as easy as you'd expect, and as this is a Matter device, it uses Bluetooth for initial pairing, or commissioning as it's referred to. Once it's added, it appears in the app, but to be clear, this is not yet exposed to HomeKit. To add the cube to my HomeKit setup, I can actually no longer use the QR code that comes on the device. Instead, we need to go into the Yeelight Station's settings page and enable pairing mode, whereupon a brand new code is generated. We're going to copy this code to add it to HomeKit, as the original code will only work again if the device has been totally reset. Instead of scanning a code, we're going to choose more options, then our device will appear and we select it and just need to paste in the code I copied into the box. Just so you know, this worked first time in case you were wondering. I'll now just rename it and choose a better icon. Now in Home, you only get the option to change the cube to the usual solid colours and adjust brightness levels. This will apply to any other cubes connected to that base. So I can change the colours as seen here, dim it and turn it on or off, but there's not a lot more to show you in the Home app, unfortunately. Let's now have a quick look at the differences between the three cube types. So the panel has a diffuser to make the 25 colour LEDs blend together, whilst the Spot, although actually quite bright, can only do one colour at a time, not multiple colours at once. The Matrix has the same 25 dots but no diffuser, so you see each LED dot, each of which are individually addressable. So you're probably wondering why you would need the Yeelight Station app. Well, it has the features you need to get the most out of these cubes basically. The base has a touch sensitive button to allow you to turn the device on or off. A quick tap allows you to cycle through 8 chosen modes, as the app calls them, and you can assign 8 of these to the button, with each cycling to the next one before starting all over again. You can choose which 8 modes are assigned to the button in the custom button switching option within settings. You can of course turn the cubes on or off within the app, and on the home screen you can select any one of the 13 preset modes that are lined up along the bottom of the panel, which can scroll left and right. You can also go into the app and choose these modes from the floating bubbles, with each mode being editable. These bubbles probably give you a better idea of what they look like, with each bubble containing an edit button. For example, the bonfire preset looks good, but you can see it's going sideways instead of up. So I just tap edit, then select the appropriate direction for it, and hey presto, the flames are going up now. This section also allows you to change not only one of 4 directions, but also the speed of the animation to go either faster or slower. I can also change the overall colour of the flames, so I can choose from the preset palette above, but I can also choose my own colour using the colour wheel. In this case, if I prefer a blue flame, I just select the blue circle and it's done. As you've seen so far, I've only got 3 cubes connected, but I can easily just add another cube if I want. If I add this cube, you can see that a green dot appears in the corner. Now this is because you need to specify the way in which the cubes are arranged, what type they are, and in what order. In this page you can see the 3 cubes I had set up before, so all I need to do is add another matrix cube to the setup, and as soon as it's saved, the newly added cube is able to join in the fun. Now whatever mode I choose, all 4 cubes will work together. Sticking with the app, I'll show you some of the customization options you can get. So I just click on the Start to Create button and a separate graphic for the 4 cubes appears. In edit mode, I can simply draw on the interface to my liking and select each cube as needed. I'm also not limited to one colour, so each of the 25 dots can be a different colour. The Presets tab offers choices for things like graphics, alphabet, numbers, transitions, and a lot more. I'll go back to the graphics tab first, which offers things like those ghost creatures you see in Pac-Man, and if I add a few of these, I can also make them move with the dynamic effects option, which offers 4 choices including off. Once again, I can control the speed and the direction of the effects just like before. It should be noted that the colour of these presets can't be altered, although you can easily recreate them yourself, which is also the same with the alphabet option, which is pretty straightforward, but you can also create your own custom letters if you wish. If we now move on to the vertical combination option, there's a preset that allows me to create a rocket ship. This uses 4 separate tiles, which once animated looks like it's taking off. There's a lot of potential with these modes, with just a bit of imagination. So I've now added a 5th cube with a maximum of 6 cubes per base possible. In this case, the 5th cube I've added is the cube spot. As before, I need to let the app know the updated arrangement, so in module splicing I just need to remove a couple of matrix cube, add the spot, then re-add the previously 2 removed cubes on top. That's done. Now the spot cube is an oddity as it can only do one colour at a time, but what it does offer is the option to tilt the spotlight at various angles like so. Whilst the spot cube might seem a little rudimentary compared to the other 2 options, if we go back to the tower of lights that I've set up, it all becomes more obvious as to why the spot has its own unique place. Boom. As you can see, it essentially creates a nice backlight effect. Just note that the setup here is actually quite close to the backdrop, so the effect is less pronounced, but even if it's a couple of feet from the wall, the effect is quite impressive. Due to the spot's limitations, it does react differently depending on the mode selected, so some will work better than others, but essentially this creates something of a unique opportunity with backlighting and front lighting in one device. Since this product was announced late last year, a lot of people have been curious about the digital clock feature, and in the app you simply need to turn it on, although this option is only available if you have 4 or more matrix cubes set up. Once turned on, you can automatically see the clock, and tapping on Theme gives you further options. Now these options are Time, Date, or Time and Date, with the latter switching back and forth between the 2. You can also choose from a variety of preset colour options, although you can't choose your own colour in this instance. It's also worth noting that the cube panel will also be seen as a matrix tile and work as part of the clock, although it's barely legible, to be fair. What you can do is adjust the brightness to just 1% if needed, if you're using this in a bedroom, for example. Finally, a quick revisit to the cube panel we saw at the start of the video, and although the multicolour presets are blended due to the diffuser, you can still have exactly the same 25 individual LED dots as found in the cube matrix, each of which can be individually turned on or off and individually coloured to your liking to create your own multicoloured preset. You can also add a dynamic effect to your creation too if you wish, and save it for recall later on. We're on the home stretch now, so with the pros and cons, it's still early days yet, but in the case of the cube, Matter works pretty well as expected once I understood the concept. So if you want something a little more future-proof, then Matter seems to be the way to go right now. As the concept is modular, it does give you a lot of options as to how you build up your own setup, as long as you're prepared to buy extra bases where necessary. The fact that Yeelight has gone for 3 different lighting options isn't lost on me at all, and is something I think bodes well for possible future models perhaps, so that's something to look forward to, I hope. I'm not a PC gamer per se, but you do get a lot out of these when connecting to the Razer platform, not just for gaming but audio sync as well. I'd like to have seen a built-in mic to use audio sync out of the box, but if it were built into the base unit with more than one base, it could go wrong, I guess. Now, I'm not generally a fan of Wi-Fi these days, as you probably know, especially when it's not really necessary, but it would seem Yeelight has yet to choose the path towards Thread, so Wi-Fi will have to do for now. The only negative is that currently there are no options at all for schedules or automations within the Yeelight Station app, so you're reliant upon the other platforms for this, although it's limited to solid colours as we know in these instances. The company has said they're working towards adding automation and schedule functions, so I hope they do follow through on this. All in all, I think Yeelight has delivered something quite different for the first time in a while, and it's great to see them being proactive when it comes to Matter, as I felt they'd lost their way a bit in the last couple of years. I'm very happy with these, and I'll certainly be buying some additional cubes and even a couple more bases as well. So that's our overview of the Yeelight Cube Smart Lamp System. If you have any questions or comments, or I've neglected to mention anything, please drop them in the comment section below. If you like this video, please like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. And in the meantime, stay safe. And remember, a fool in a hurry drinks tea with a fork.